what sort of bugged runes scenario could possibly be going on? This is a common problem that's been happening.
It was happening a bit last weekend. I just don't know what the root cause it was this time around. So we are seeing, of course, these fake bans and going down, and the teams are just going to go ahead and pick so we can get back into the game as soon as possible. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about the delay. In the meantime, while you're sitting there waiting, you can go to Arcade and ask and answer questions while you're waiting for the game to start and have a chance to win graphics cards. So I would highly recommend doing that. It's a really good promotion provided by our sponsor, and definitely worth your time to get on that site and start participating.
Yeah, you should definitely do it, because last week Cumley said that he's going to win every single one of the prizes, and we wouldn't want Cumley to win every prize.
I don't want him to win any prize.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So if winning free stuff is not motivation enough for you, beating Cumley might be.
All right, guys, and as we tick down here, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to an arcade commercial and some more advertisements. Sorry about the delay on this game. We will be getting into Game 2 shortly. If you missed the first one, Team Dynamic is up 1-0 in this best of 3.
That indeed. So we're looking to see if CLG Black can stretch this series out longer, or if Team Dynamic is just going to take it home.
Welcome back, Summoners and Summonettes. We are going into the loading screen right now, which means that we're going to do a little bit of analysis, I think. I mean, we've got some interesting teams here, and something that struck me just looking at the team compositions that we've seen so far is that I think that actually Team Dynamic is going to have a very hard time engaging in this game. And I'm sorry, my screen is out in the corner right now, but I think that given the champions that CLG Black has with Blitzcrank and Anivia, it's going to be very easy for them to engage and to split off the portions of Team Dynamic. So I think that with the Quirky pick, with the Shyvana pick, that actually Team Dynamic is going to have a very difficult time getting in on the turrets of CLG Black if it comes to a prolonged siege situation. So hold on, guys. Let me go ahead and refresh this game. My client has bugged out just for a little bit, but we will be back in the game momentarily. Let me just go ahead and hit that reconnect button, and we will be back with you.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting that you say that, Monty, about the engagement thing here. We have CLG Black right now. Their entire team comp is incredibly tanky. They have Blitzcrank, Skarner, Olaf, all of whom get incredibly beefy, as we see an early invade here by CLG Black going in to look at that blue buff. But then you have Anivia and Graves, two characters who play in positions where the characters are typically squishy. But Anivia, with her passive, is inherently just a little tankier than every other mage, and Graves, with his passive, is the same for other carries as well. So we're going to see a really, really, really tanky late game CLG Black team to a Team Dynamic team who, ultimately speaking, is going to be pretty tanky as well. Corki and Orianna not being quite as tanky as Graves and Anivia, unfortunately for them. So we'll see what works. We'll see how this ends up playing out. We're just seeing a lot of bush camping by CLG Black at this point, trying to see if they can get a good blitz pull off, as Psycho Sid goes back to go to top lane.
Yeah, and like I was saying, you know, this Team Dynamic team, if they get into a position where they have to siege a turret, they really don't have any way to engage under turret, because if they engage under turret, Crystallize is going to cut them off. They're going to get grabbed. You know, Gozuzun is going to impale them. There are just so many ways for CLG Black to punish turret sieges from Team Dynamic, and no real way for Team Dynamic to engage. Shyvana's not great at engaging. The Orianna ult might be able to sort of flip somebody towards them, but will probably also flip people away if it hits multiple targets. Nunu not really that good at engaging. He's got the Ice Blast, but that's just a slow. And Jack's really not wanting to engage with Counter-Strike, not really wanting to leap into the middle of them and try and stun just one person in order to pick them off. So it's going to be really hard for Team Dynamic to make CLG commit to a fight, whereas it's very easy for CLG to make Team Dynamic commit to that same fight.
That's absolutely 100% on point right there.
Look at what we're seeing, by the way, from Pixel and Zig. He took Consume first on Nunu, and they're going to be stealing that red buff. What an interesting strategy.
Right, not only did they steal the red buff, but we had Atlanta run into Zuna's top jungle and steal the blue buff. So Zuna, without his own red and without his own blue, luckily he counter jungled and got the blue from the other team. He got the blue from Team Dynamic, but he's going to run over to his blue, find that it's gone, and he's going to be down about a couple hundred gold from that.
Yeah, that's a really crazy strat and a great idea. Now that Nunu has kind of been, you know, I haven't seen any support Nunu ever take Consume first, but that's a very creative use of that as a free smite in order to get your AD carry that first red. And I bet Hoodstop is just really upset right now about this turn of events.
Yeah, I don't, you know, red buff on the AD carry at level 1 is not a good thing. As Psycho Sid gets engaged upon by Atlanta and Zion Spartan, he's not going to end up taking fatal damage, though. He's going to be okay and pot up for the next little tussle here.
Yeah, I'm just really surprised by this strategy, and it's always great to see new things like that. That's a very bold move that I would think would come out of M5, but not necessarily Team Dynamic, so...
Sure, well, they are living up to their namesake, certainly.
And it looks like we have a Shyvana gank up here on Psycho Sid in top lane.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be... It does not look like it's going to amount to much, though. Washio, are you a little behind the live here?
I might be just a little bit behind the live. Yes, let me speed up. It looks like it started up at live, but I've been slowly gaining more time. So I'll just go ahead and speed up for you guys. And let's try and make sure that I catch up to the action that's unfolding on screen for KDH already.
And we see, oh wow, a really great grab by Bloodwater bot lane on a Pixel, just really nailing that. No real interesting trades happened afterwards, but the grab was superb.
I just caught up to it. It was really amazing, just splitting the uprights there between those minions.
Yeah, totally. He managed to nail that one pretty hard. Unfortunately, there wasn't much to be done afterwards, but it looked really pretty.
Yeah, it looks like we're not missing much. Both of these teams playing a relatively passive game after taking that initial buff. It has worn off Zig now, so nothing stupendous came of it, but all in all, still a great steal so that it will minimize the damage that Skarner's able to do out from his own jungle.
Right, I mean, and it's also going to minimize his ability to gank other lanes before he hits level 6 as well, so that's also handy. We're going to see Atlanta in that top bush there. We do not have a ward in there for the blue team. CLG does not have a river ward, but unfortunately, Shyvana doesn't look like she's going to provide us with any action there. She's just going to go back to jungling.
Yeah, like I said, no surprise. Both of these teams really set up to play the farm game for a while. Both Olaf and Jax, of course, doing very well with farm and items. And looks like Atlanta's going to go ahead and try and steal that. And are they going to get a kill?
And he's going to have to flash. Ghost Uzuna's following, and he's going to get that slow proc, and Anivia's going to flash as well and pick up first blood. Link gets first blood. 3 flashes popped in that little engagement, and I believe the ignite on Link as well. But first blood going to Anivia there.
I mean, that kill just shows how well CLG Black communicates. That one ping was enough to orchestrate this series of moves for CLG Black, and they just look so practiced and so comfortable with each other's playstyles and so in sync that they're able, off of a single ping, to pick up a really beautiful kill like that and converge upon the spot with very little waiting or delay.
Yeah, that was really, really, really well played by CLG Black for sure. And we see right now as Psycho Sid looking as though he's going to go back. He's got Zion Spartan pretty low on his turret. He managed to do that with a couple of axe throws. And he just wants to be in there as much as possible and wreak as much havoc as possible. Meanwhile, we got Zig and Pixel duking it out with Bloodwater and Hoodstomp bot lane. They're just, everybody, as we predicted, the two really aggressive lanes are just going at each other in this bot lane right now.
And I'd like to point out, we're seeing Zion Spartan get quite low up there to Psycho Sid. I'd just like to point out Psycho Sid's leveling right now. He is actually going undertow first in this matchup versus Jax instead of that Vicious Strikes, and that's because the Counter-Strike will prevent him from really sustaining off of the extra damage and life steal and spell vamp that Vicious Strikes is going to give him. So that undertow really doing a lot more to ensure that he can trade effectively. It'll do more damage when he hits with an axe, and it will also slow down Zion Spartan more so he can get those reckless swings and that true damage in. So really great build if you're planning on playing top lane Olaf versus Jax.
Yeah, I completely agree. It really does work out well that way.
In the meantime, the farming just increasing here in mid lane for both players. Looks like Anivia at 56, Oriana at 58. Very dead even lane, and both players going gold per 5. We're seeing the gold per 5 mid strat, and Link is really known for running gold per 5s in mid lane, but I haven't seen it so much out of Paradoxical.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Gold per 5 mid, definitely a viable way to go. But as you said, it's not super common outside of Paradoxical and some other people. I haven't seen Link do it myself.
No, Link definitely does it a lot. Paradoxical is who I haven't seen do it much before. Yes.
Yeah, yes, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, it's interesting to see both players doing it. There is a Hog and or a Philo on at least 2 members of each team.
Yeah, and this really says that they're going to be settling in for the late game. Both of these teams just very happy to sit in lane and farm up for a while, get those gold per 5s to carry them into the late game, and then we should see some really high-powered fights as they start contesting Dragon in about 5 or 10 minutes.
Certainly, and you see Psycho Sid right now. He comes back to lane with boots, some pots, and 2 Doran shields.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all either. Those Doran shields are going to help him sustain very heavily in lane. We know from last game that he does like these kind of... He was running HP regen Quints on Hecarim, so he does like these kind of HP regen builds. Let's take a look at his HP regen right now. At 32 per 5, that is extremely high.
That's a lot.
He must be running those same runes, actually, I would suspect, given how much HP regen he has. Compared to other, well, maybe not. Maybe he's just using the 16 off of those Doran's shields, but I'd have to take a look at more at Olaf's scaling in terms of HP regeneration. I don't know that off the top of my head.
So I think it's at least moderately high. It's going to be effective on Olaf for sure. And, you know, any top lane champion can really benefit from any kind of sustain you can give them. HP regen specifically is pretty good top lane, as we're going to see Pixel and Zig get a little bit aggressive bot lane, but to no avail. They're just going to end up going back to farming again.
Yeah, not too surprising. Atlanta's still just looking mostly to counter jungle. He's got that Oracle up already, so he is doing a little bit of ward hunting, but he's not finding anything quite yet. And he will find a ward placed in mid lane for some reason. I'm not sure why that ward is there currently.
That's interesting. I don't know why either.
It must have been to see if Orianna was going to be ganking. If they placed it there so that when Orianna pushed the lane, they could see if she was actually leaving one way or another. But that looks like it will be taken out quite quickly by Atlanta as he heads top. Zion Spartan getting a few free hits on Psycho Sid.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, too, if Psycho Sid is a little bit close for comfort now that Atlanta's running around in their top lane, but I think he knows that it's coming, so he's going to back out.
Yeah, and that pink ward was almost dead anyway, so not really too much of a loss there for Psycho Sid, but he's just going to have to back off until he's sure that Atlanta isn't there. Throws an undertow into that bush, but doesn't find a Dragon Lady.
No, unfortunately, there are not dragons in every bush, only some of them.
And
or maybe that is a good thing.
Maybe it is a good thing, after all. So the gold is staying really constant here and looking quite high at 13.8, 13.6 by the 11-minute mark. That is due to the gold for 5 items being prevalent in this matchup. And let's take a look at Ivia going for that tier first, but looking like she's going to go Rod of Ages, actually, and hold on to that tier for a later Archangels.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. On a champion like Anivia, who's so mana-heavy, it's pretty beneficial to start with Tyr and Rod of Ages. Yeah, we can tell. Just make sure you get that out of the way.
We can tell as well that Zig is planning for the late game because he went Phage first on Corki, and that means that he's looking for that tanky survivability in this lane phase so that he doesn't get insta-jibbed by Blitz and Graves, as well as just being able to kind of stay in lane longer if he takes a little bit of poke.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to help him out there. You know, he's got that extra HP. It's going to help him be more aggressive in lane, which Nunu Corki is already really good at it.
And Skarner, Gozuzuna coming in for a lane gank, but I think, yeah, it looks like the bottom pair of Team Dynamic, Pixel and Zig, are just going to head back. So no luck there, but they're going to converge on Dragon right now. Psycho Sid coming down from bot lane. And
that's pretty interesting.
And now
5 men on Dragon.
Yeah, well, now that Zig has left and blue pilled, they're going to have no response for this. So really, really well timed. Link putting up that Crystallize to block any possible attempt for that Dragon to come out. Now, of course, the sacrifice is that Zion Spartan has lost a lot of farm top now. He is even on farm, but he's going to have to walk all the way back up there, and he's lost some experience also. So it has to be good for the net game of his team, which it is, of course, but it is going to leave him just a little bit behind in that top lane.
Right, especially now Jax is just beating on that turret. I don't know necessarily how hard he'll have to back off. He's going to almost take the whole thing down before he has to leave. So, you know, actually, make sacrifices leading Dragon.
Zion Spartan not actually taking any CS during that entire walk back. I'm not exactly sure if he missed it or what happened, but Psycho Sid still ahead by 1 on CS, and so he actually did get a relatively large, he got a 200 gold lead from that Dragon, which is exactly how much Dragon is worth. So very interesting that he was not punished harder for that, but it doesn't look like it's going to be an issue, besides the 1 level gap, which will quickly be closed.
Right, the levels in this game right now, not so much the most important thing. As you see Psycho Sid and Zion Spartan begin just sort of punching each other until one of them falls down. We got a lot of action going on bot lane. Some snowballs, some knockups from Blitzcrank, a pull. There's a Graves ulti. The Nunu ultimate onto Blitzcrank right now is not going to kill him. Graves gets the ignite and a buckshot off. Meanwhile, top lane, Hootstop is going to pick up that kill. Skarner's going in. Unfortunately, Psycho Sid has to flash out, and he's going to impale onto the tower, getting Zion Spartan. There's some true damage going down from Olaf there, not able to pick up a kill, and it looks like Jax and Shyvana are going to pick up the kills there. Both of them very low, but that's going to be 2 for 2 in this game so far.
That was a very impressive dive by Atlanta and Zion Spartan there, and unfortunately for Gozuzuna, when he impaled Jax, the turret actually focused. Oh, we have some action going on in the bot lane, actually.
Yes, we do. The turret goes down, and it looks like Pixel is going to manage to make it out without dying.
Yeah, it was just the impale from Skarner actually caused the turret to focus on Atlanta instead of Zion Spartan, and so that prevented Jax, Zion Spartan, from actually going down in that confrontation. Psycho said trying to hit him with one last reckless swing, but he barely escaped as Atlanta tanked the turret hits. So that's just something that happens sometimes with those turrets that you can't control. And
yes, it does.
You just kind of have to go home and weep into your hands a little bit when it happens that you didn't pick up a kill or get anything from that trade.
Just chalk that one up to experience. One can always learn.
Indeed. And now we've lost a tower in bot lane, so that will extend CLG's Black's lead to about 1.5 thousand gold. So not too bad for the 15-minute mark, but I think we're going to just return to passive laning after this. Hoodstomp going to go ahead and pick up the double golems from his jungle while he waits for that lane from Team Dynamic and bot to push a little further forward.
Yeah, he's going to make sure that he pushes out before he does any more risky moves. Doesn't want to do anything that's going to get anybody killed down there, since the game right now is sort of in that fragile state where a little bit of farm, a little bit of aggression one way or another is going to push these lanes and is going to make somebody, it's going to get somebody a lead.
Yeah, exactly. And looks like we're going to see Zig and Pixel trying to roam a little bit now that the lane has reached more towards CLG Black's bottom turret, and they're going to converge in mid lane right now.
Yes, they are. There's Zig and Pixel. Shyvana's going to knock them back into Zig. Really well done there. Skarner's going to get taken out, and Link is going to have to stun to go back. That was a really great ultimate by Atlanta, knocking both Anivia and Skarner into Corki when he had his Gatling gun on. It was a really great play.
Beautiful work there. And that is going to maybe be a turret, actually. No, Graves comes back for the bottom.
Graves doing a lot of damage. There's a blitz pull, really clutch there. Paradoxical going down thanks to the combined efforts of CLG Black. A lot more damage. Link getting egged, but not going down because he is Anivia. They're chasing down Shyvana right now. Blitzcrank on the trail. Jax coming in. They didn't want to keep going with that, apparently. And Anivia pushing mid. So, again, blood is answered with blood in this game, apparently. There's just kill after kill after kill, and it doesn't look like anyone's really ending up on top of the kill battle.
No, and both teams also losing a turret there. So CLG Black lost top, but actually we're probably going to see this other turret go down as well, thanks to the zoning from Anivia.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage that's going down. Blitzcrank taking all that turret aggro. Link able to make sure that turret goes down with the help of Hoodstomp and Zuna. So another turret, again, still anyone's game at this point, but some really impressive play going on.
Yeah, and that dragon taken by CLG Black in conjunction with the 2 additional turrets really gives them a big global objective advantage at this point in time. And Anivia with blue buff's going to have no problem defending this mid turret from anything that TD will be able to muster.
Yeah. That's going to get messy. We see Pixel having to flash a wall to get out without getting killed. We see the rest of CLG Black hanging out, trying to get the rest of Team Dynamic to commit to something, though it doesn't look like they're going to get their wish.
Yeah, Psycho said a bit of miscommunication from CLG Black about whether they were going to chase Pixel down as Nuno. You did see him pop his flash there, and that's really not good on Olaf, especially into the mid and late game. You need to be able to have that ghost up when you are using your Ragnarok ultimate, and that's how you really get back to carries. And if both aren't up, it becomes extremely difficult for you to team fight and kind of maximize your potential as an assassin in their back lanes.
You know, that's totally true. As we see right now, Team Dynamic looking to take a dragon. They're gonna get it, but they're gonna get gone on. There's the suppressant. Skarner Hoodstomp with the help of the team annihilating that Corki. A double kill for Hoodstomp. Shyvana's gonna go down there, and it looks like they're not gonna be able to. Oh man, a stone over the wall from Link. Really great onto Pixel. Unfortunately, the slow not quite enough to get his team to catch up, but a great fight there at Dragon, and it looks like CLG Black is going to push up some more.
Oh wow, another beautiful crystallize from Link. what
Wow.
amazing Nivea play we've actually seen this game. And conversely, I feel like Paradoxical's ults have been really ineffective as Orianna. He either isn't getting them off in time, like we saw at that fight in mid-turret, he actually died before he could fully complete his ult's animation, or while we just saw at Dragon right there, he managed to ult, but it really didn't do anything. It didn't do damage, probably because he doesn't really have, I mean, he now has some relatively good AP items, and he is having, let's check out his AP really quickly. He is up at 175 right now, and Anivia, conversely, is at only 105, but it just, they haven't been disruptive enough. And Link's Anivia has just been enormously disruptive, from amazing Flash Frost like the one you saw over that wall, clutch crystallizes like you saw right there to take out Paradoxical, and also to kind of wall off Dragon earlier and ensure that they got that really critical first Baron, or Dragon, excuse me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just been spot on with that for CLG Black this game. It's just been working really, really well. And we see now most of them going back to purchase things. We're going to watch as we're going to watch as Bloodwater runs around making sure the Baron is clear of wards. I think it's about that point in the game where teams are going to have to start worrying about the other team doing Baron.
Yeah, and honestly, like, of course the game's not over, but I really see a lot of problems for Team Dynamic in terms of coming back off this situation. The zoning potential that CLG Black's comp provides is so huge that they're going to be able to really easily pick apart turrets and siege them, and conversely, Team Dynamic is going to have an extraordinarily hard time preventing them from or like taking turrets of their own, basically. And we're about to see that right here. They could start Baron pretty much, and Link will be able to zone the entire Team Dynamic team off of Baron with that blue buff as Anivia, no problem.
I mean, and that's a really interesting counter too, to make that play work. We're going to see Hoodstomp dash over the wall to potentially steal some of those wraiths and get a little bit aggressive onto Shyvana, but she's going to back out before he can really do any damage. And it looks like we're just going to try and hide in that bush and set something up.
Yeah, it looks like Bloodwater, his team's not with him, though. And I would just want to mention that we actually saw a very similar comp to this last week that Taipei Assassins actually used against CLG Black. And if you guys haven't seen that VOD, you should definitely check out Taipei Assassins on GG Chronicles.
Was amazing.
Yeah, it was a really good game. But Taipei Assassins won by using what I called a grab comp, which was Skarner and Blitzcrank. And what they would do is Mistake, who's the support player. Oop, we might have some action. Hold on.
Yeah, it looks like a purple turret goes down. We see a fight breaking out near Baron right now. Noodle ultimate going down on top of what appears to be a Nivea ultimate. Skarner's ulting somebody. It's tough to see. The Ghost Suzuna's going to take down Zion Spartan in that engagement. It looks like Nunu's going to go down as well to Hoodstomp. Skarner is the one who picks up Jax. He's also going to chase down Orianna with the Shirelias there, and he's going to get Graves a double kill on Orianna. So right now Zig's super low, and Atlanta also about half, maybe a third HP left, and it looks like CLG Black's going to get a free Baron out of that.
This is a very dangerous Baron, actually, especially with Corki still up. I feel like he could actually pentakill them right now if Hoodstomp tanks Baron a little more, but it looks like they're really not interested in... Well, that's going to be Baron, and that'll extend the gold lead up to 8,000. But what I was saying, guys, about this game last week between CLG Black and Taipei Assassins was that we actually saw Link was playing Anivia in that game against the grab comp, but they mistaked the Blitzcrank player, the support player for Taipei, and Toys, who is their jungler who was playing Skarner. Basically, they would always just stand on top of each other, and they would wait for Mistake to get an amazing blitz grab, and then they would just immediately follow that up with Impale. And this just slowly over the course of the game dismantled CLG Black. Link got grabbed so many times as Anivia in that game. And they would hide all over the map with Blitzcrank and Skarner, wait for the grab and the Impale, and they would just pick them off one by one. It was actually really funny to watch, and it was obviously a strategy that were really comfortable with, and it's really fun to see CLG Black turn around a week later and then use the same kind of strat.
Yeah, I mean, that's always really interesting to watch, especially when it works so well the first time. People just want to see more and more of that. And, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I say.
Yeah, indeed. So, yeah, go to the GG Chronicle YouTube channel. If you haven't seen that game, check out Taipei Assassins versus CLG Black from last week. It is in the Group B playlist. And give yourself a treat. I might actually, after this series is over, I'll put it on the replay for you guys to check out.
Yeah, Monty's a stand-up guy, and that's going to be one heck of a game to watch. We see CLG Black right now pressing their advantage and just putting a bunch of pressure. They're going to go up to the top turret, it looks like, and push that as well. You know, just get a little bit of that. It doesn't appear to be a split push because, well, it's not quite a split push because nobody's on the other side, but it is still a group push onto this turret. We're probably going to see CLG Black take that down.
Yeah, undoubtedly. And at this point, it's just this is going to be too much for Team Dynamic to handle. The goal differential is too massive, and they can't deal with the incredible zoning potential and threat that this CLG Black team comp presents. I mean, there's no way.
Yeah, it's pretty rough at this point. With all of these slows coming from Anivia and from Skarner and from Olaf, it's going to be really difficult, especially with blitz grabs involved as well, to make sure somebody doesn't get caught on the regular.
Yeah, and one Crystallize and one Glacial Storm from Anivia and one Minion Wave equal like almost half of that turret's HP, so it'll go down very soon.
I guess it certainly will, and here we go. It looks like the engagement is on. Crystallize to stop people from getting involved. Bloodwater misses that grab, and it looks like Corki is able to keep them off the tower for yet a few more seconds of this siege.
Yeah, not much to say right now, guys. Until a fight breaks out, we're just going to see more Anivia Crystallize and more zoning from CLG Black. Bloodwater still being a threat, trying to get those ganks, hitting the overdrive, and running straight in.
Wow, yeah, he is. And Link's going to pick up that kill on Shyvana. We're going to see another kill go down. Psycho Sid's going to pick up Pixel, and the Havoc keeps running. Footstomp is going to manage to pick up that turret, and it looks like they're going to get an inhibitor pretty flawlessly out of that exchange.
Yeah, and remember what I said at the beginning of the game about Team Dynamic's issues with engaging? Well, I hate to say it, but Shyvana running at you is not a really good engage, especially when you just get impaled straight away by Skarner.
Yeah,
so,
that doesn't quite work there.
A very clean and quick win by CLG Black there, and we will be going to a Game 3. So again, guys, it is 1-1 right now between CLG Black and Team Dynamic, and we will get into the next game right away. I see I didn't drop any frames that game, which I'm thrilled about.
That's excellent.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and KDH and I will be back with you very shortly.
All right, we'll see you soon.